Hi guys, so it is math time. I know I haven't made a video. Well, I made a video for reading yesterday, but we haven't made a math video. So we're still talking about fractions. You did some boom cards over, just kind of a little review over fractions with number lines. So today we're going to be moving on from fractions on a number line to composing and decomposing fractions. Now guys, do not let the title scare you, okay? Because I know that you're probably thinking, oh, Miss Yantha, what in the world are we doing? So we're going to be composing and decomposing fractions. So before we kind of jump in, let's look at some vocabulary words. So first off, if you don't know what the word compose means, it means to put pieces together. So compose means to put pieces together. And if we're putting these pieces together, what other word could we use for compose? Add. Okay? So we're going to be adding the pieces together. Okay, so compose means add. Decompose means to take pieces apart. So what is another action that we do when we take pieces apart? Subtract. Okay, so decompose means to subtract the pieces. Okay, so compose is when we put the pieces together. Decompose is when we take the pieces apart. Okay. Also, we have talked about numerator before. So the numerator is the top number in a fraction that shows how many parts of the whole there are. So our numerator is telling us how many either parts we've shaded, or how many parts we picked, or how many parts they ate. So how many parts of the whole there are. Okay, so there are 3 parts. Okay. Our denominator is the bottom number of the fraction that shows the equal parts in one whole. So the denominator is showing us how many are in the whole. Okay, so the numerator is showing us how many parts that we're picking. The denominator is showing how many equal parts in one whole. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about unit fraction. What is a unit fraction? So I'm not going to show you the definition yet, because we're going to come back and we're going to come up with the definition, and then we're going to see if we're close. So a unit fraction. So I'm just going to kind of leave you with this picture right here. So what do you think a unit fraction is? So I want you to pause the video, and I want you just on a piece of paper somewhere, tell me just by looking at the picture what you think a unit fraction is. So we're going to come back to that in a little bit. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some puzzle pieces, and we're going to be finding out our equal parts and our unit fraction. Okay. So for the first puzzle piece that I have, you'll need the handout that says puzzle report, and it says once the puzzles are all put together, complete the report below. Use the circles to sketch one of the pieces, name the puzzle, and label what fraction of the whole each piece equals. Okay. So my first puzzle piece looks like this. So 1, 2, so I have 2 pieces, and when I put it together, what do you think it makes? So it kind of looks like it makes a pond. So on our first circle, we're just going to put the name, we're going to put pond. P-O-U-N-D. Pond. And so we're going to sketch this picture. So we know that this puzzle had 2 pieces, so we're going to divide this circle into 2. Now it says name the puzzle and label the fraction of one of the whole. Name what fraction of the whole each piece equals. So this piece would be what? 1/2, because I have 1 part of 2, so 1/2. And this piece would be 1/2. Okay, so this is a unit, and this is a unit in my fraction. So units are kind of like your pieces. Okay, so 1/2 and 1/2. And so let's look at our next puzzle piece. So what do you think this, what puzzle does this make? Looks like a road. So my circle number 2, I'm going to write road. And how many pieces does this have? 3. So what would I call this? What fraction would I call this? Thirds. So I'm going to, in this circle, I'm going to make thirds. And we kind of do that by, we start off by doing half, and then when we get to the middle, we kind of diagonal off to the side. So kind of like an upside down line. So this is divided into thirds. What do you think I'm going to name each piece? I'm going to name each piece 1/3, because if I were to split these apart, this is 1/3, one piece of the third, one piece of the third, and one piece of the third. So when I put them together, they make 3/3. So 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So if it's just one piece, our numerator is 1, and our denominator is the number of parts in our whole, which is 3. Okay. Let's look at our next piece. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So I have 4 pieces, so what would I call this? I would call this fourths. So I'm going to divide this into fourths. Okay. And I want to label each piece. So this would be 1/4. This would be 1/4. This would be 1/4. And this would be 1/4. So 1, 1, 1, 1, because I can take one piece away. So I have 1/4, I took 1/4, I took another 1/4, I took another 1/4, I took another 1/4. But if I put them all together, what do you think I would have? 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Okay, it's kind of like we're counting. It's like the word combined. We talked about the word combined. It's like we're combining all these pieces. Each piece has a part. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and we combined all those pieces together. Okay. Let's look at the next puzzle piece. Oh, this one we're going to name Pond 2. Because that was the second pond we saw. Okay, let's look at the next one. Sky. It's a sun. Oh. So how many pieces does this puzzle make? Actually, what does this make? It makes some hills. So we're going to label this one hills. Okay. So how many pieces do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what would my fraction be called? 6. So I'm going to divide this into 6. So I'm going to half it, and then I'm going to go over here. Kind of like I'm going to make an X in the middle. Okay. Now, I want to name each part. So if we're talking about 6, this would be 1/6, this would be 1/6, this would be 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. okay? Because it's only one piece. It's one piece of the sixth. One piece of the sixth, okay? My next puzzle piece. So this looks like this is a ocean. I'm going to say ocean. Okay. Now let's see how many pieces. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 pieces. So I'm going to, in my circle, I'm going to divide it into 8. Now if we have 8s, and just divide it the best you can. If we have 8s, what is my fraction going to be called? 8s. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8. So what are my pieces going to be called? 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. Because each piece is one piece of the 8. So 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, and 1/8. Okay. Now, let's look at what it's asking us to. Now let's kind of talk through what our puzzle pieces are showing us. So, what do you notice about all the fractions within one puzzle? So, let's take a look at the thirds. Okay, so I'm going to bring the thirds back out. So, here's my puzzle piece for the thirds. What do you notice about those pieces? What do you notice about all of those pieces? Take a minute and I want you to look at the picture. And I want you to write, or you can either write it down or say it out loud. What do you notice about all of the fractions in this one puzzle piece? So, all of the fractions within the puzzle were the same because each puzzle was made up of a certain number of equal pieces. Okay? So, all of these fractions of the puzzle were the same. They're the same because they're all a whole. Because each puzzle was made up of a certain number of equal pieces. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, all of them are the same because each puzzle was made up of a certain number of equal pieces. Okay, so we're going to write all fractions within a puzzle were the same. Okay, we're just going to do that. We're the same. And when we explain it, it's because each piece was made up of a certain number of equal parts. So they had equal, they're all the fractions are, so like in this 1/3, all of these are 1/3 because they're all made up of the same equal number of pieces. Okay? What do you notice about the fraction of each piece of all the puzzles? So if you notice, all of these have a what? A numerator of 1 because each piece was one equal part of the whole. So each fraction had a numerator of 1 because each piece was one equal parts of the whole. Remember, at any time you can stop my video to finish copying. Okay? Okay, now, what is a unit fraction? So we talked about, I showed you that vocabulary word. I didn't show you the definition because I wanted us to think about what a unit fraction is. So here's, remember my pictures. So if I was looking at these puzzle pieces, this one piece over here is a unit fraction. This is a unit fraction. So what do you think a unit fraction is? And kind of look at this picture. It's only labeling this one piece, 1/4. So, for instance, on my 1/3, my unit fraction for the road would be 1/3. My unit fraction for the pond would be 1/2. Okay? So, a unit fraction, this is important, is a fraction that represents only one of the equal parts of a whole. So, a unit fraction is one equal part of the whole. So, what is a unit fraction? One equal part of a whole. That is a unit fraction. So when I say unit fraction, you should automatically think she's talking about one equal part of a whole. So that one part of a whole. Okay? So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to give you some pictures. So if we said that a unit fraction is one equal part of a whole, I want you to, I'm going to post these up. I'm going to give you these pictures. It says find the unit fraction based on the whole unit. So what would my unit fraction be? So you need to look at what it's divided into and what would one of those pieces be called. Okay, so think about when we did this up top. Okay. All right.